know your skill level and what you should and what you shouldn't be teaching. That's
Yeah.
where I think it can get
Yes.
a little muddy.
Everybody everybody has a ceiling. Know your
Hmm.
ceiling. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. Well, and even like I'm not even the biggest fan of people putting on like movement classes per se. Like, yeah, I've definitely learned like there's some things in shooting footwork wise that pertains to shooting. But if you just want like faster and better footwork or movement, honestly, like I would just go with like a strength and conditioning coach that like coaches and teaches athletes, like football players, soccer players, volleyball players. I mean, all those people in those sports generally have the same workouts, movement wise, for speed and power. So I don't really like people that put on just movement classes.
I think it would be interesting to take a Kita Bussy class because she teaches movement with the firearms. You know what I
That
mean? Like that's
and that's different, right? Like that's
yeah, that
different. Like
is
when yeah,
correct.
there's classes where they'll include movement, and that's what I mean. There are certain things in movement that pertain to shooting in particular,
Absolutely.
footwork wise. But I think that people should take like or have a coach or try to learn it at least themselves, like the strength and conditioning side of it and the footwork side of it. I know was kind of talking shit about ladders, but like they're actually really good if you want like faster feet.
Yes.
But I
Yes.
think you have to have that foundation. Not that you have to, but I think it helps a lot more when you're trying to learn those shooting specific footwork. If you already have that baseline.
And I do agree with you too. I think a lot of these guys who teach athletes how to move, if you were to put together a 10-minute compilation of videos and give it to them and then give them a week, I think they could develop something that if they're worth their salt, they could develop a program for you to get you 90% of the way there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't have to have competed. They just have to see what movement you're talking about, how you're doing it, and then go, okay, here's what we need to work on. First off, I'm going to have you
Yeah.
hold this stick, this piece of wood, and then I'm going to make you do all this other stuff while you're holding this piece of wood.
Right. And you don't even need to be like holding it. Um, yeah, I think that there should definitely be programs from coaches that don't even have to be in shooting,
Right.
but
Absolutely.
for shooters.
Yeah. I just don't think that there's been a demand enough for anybody to really get into that aspect of it.
Yeah, probably not. But people like that was one of the biggest compliments I always got when I first started shooting. Even when I was brand new, they're like, "Oh, you have really good footwork." Or there people and I don't what? Like I mean, I was new. I had no idea what people were talking about. I just moved because that's how I played sports. So my body
Yes.
just knew what to do. But people would ask me, "Well, how did you practice your footwork?" I'm like, "I don't."
Well, and that's where athletes have an advantage. Like
For
I
sure.
could tell when I first started seeing your videos, I'm like, she's not please don't take this the wrong way, but she's not a typical girl out here shooting. You know what I
No.
mean? Like
Right.
she's had some athletics in her background because she moves more like an athlete and less like your average Joe.
Yeah, another girl that moves like really, really well is I'm gonna butcher her last name, but Maria
Gushina.
Kushina. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
butcher it. I was.
She's
I was
been
not
on
gonna
the
say.
show. We had a 4-hour conversation.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, yeah. I broke it into 4 parts because it was so long. It's like an
Yeah,
hour each segment.
yeah. She moves like an athlete.
She does. But there's a lot of you that do that. You know what I mean? At
Mm-hmm.
the higher levels, there's a lot of you that move. Justine, very good.
Mm-hmm.
You, very good. I could, I could pick a nationals and go through. I go, yeah, she does. Kay does. So, but
T
they've
does.
also, yeah, T does.
T moves really
But
well.
at some point, there's been work done in some
Yep.
fashion, and whether it was sports as a kid or like you growing up doing
Mm-hmm.
nothing but sports your whole life into college, and then it all translated for you. It all
Yeah, and
does.
that's like a hard thing too. I'll get a lot of questions. People will ask me, like if I get nervous or how to not let match pressure get to you or like stuff for the mental, like the mental side of it. And that's hard to kind of give people advice on, if I'm being honest, because it's just something like I've talked to DJ about it. DJ played football. It's just something that's kind of built into athletes from doing high level sports for so long. Like when I was playing volleyball, I felt like I had so much more riding on the line. Like this was my scholarship money. This was like everything I had worked towards every single game. So like I was the pressure that I felt competing at that level, I don't think we'll ever touch or get close to the pressure in shooting.
Now, how much of that is because volleyball is a team sport and you're also not just performing for you, you're performing to not let others down. You know what I mean? Like you're
Yeah, and
performing.
maybe that's like a good point because I've always said like I don't know why I felt like I had a lot more writing on the line, but maybe that's like one of the reasons too. Also like being team captain, it's like people are relying on you
Oh yeah.
mentally and to perform well, right? So like if
They're
someone's down,
looking to
you got
you
to
for
pick them up real
inspiration.
quick. You got to be mentally strong enough to pick up your teammates and like not let your own mistakes affect you because if you're supposed to be carrying your team and you go down,
Yeah. Now you're the weak link.
yeah,
And nobody wants to be the weak link in a team sport.
no.
When I talked to Jay the other night, he was like, at World Shoot, I just wanted my score to count for the team. You know, it's like, oh, interesting. So a different way of thinking about it, which
Right.
leads me into the next part. What did you think? What is the difference when you are shooting a USPSA national? So since you, right after World Shoot, you won Open Ladies, but that's a completely different feeling because that's all on your own. That is a single individual sport. When you were at World Shoot, while you were trying to do your best individually, you were also part of a team. So how does that affect strategy and your mental processing?
Honestly, I don't really think it changed it too much besides just like maybe just more of like cheering more or like for your teammates. And honestly, like the we were competing with the South Africans and I am so glad that they were shooting with us. Cause like I just started cheering them on when they had a good run. And they are so freaking nice and like they started doing the same back and like cheering us on. Like it was a really, really, really great squad that
It's like an eight
probably made it
person
so
team.
much better.
And it being like an 8-person team.
No, it really did. Like it was we added all of each other on social media, got like phone numbers, like it ended up being an 8-person team. Like I'm not there was a the first day, I think it was the last stage or something, I should have asked for a reshoot. And I had more than every right to ask for a reshoot. I learned my lesson because I was like, it's the first day, like whatever. It's only like three
Mm,
points. But then when I was seeing scores get pretty tight, I'm like, damn it. Like
should have gotten
what
a
if those
reshoot.
like 3 points mattered? Then I'd
Right.
be mad at myself. But like even like the parents and the South Africans were like, no, you need to go ask for a reshoot. They're like pushing me to go get a reshoot. And I was like, this is a cool but like vibe. So I think like it definitely helped having them as well. Just like we were shooting with them, we're all cheering each other on, all helping each other. Um, it definitely changes a little bit, but I wouldn't say a lot. But that's where I was kind of going with like the team thing, like because we were shooting with also a really fun other group. I don't know if it would be a little different not having what we had.
Right. I get that. Maybe what, or maybe even now, did they speak English?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I
And
feel
I've
like
thought
it
about
would
that too. It'd be really hard to also be with a team that doesn't
speak
speak
English.
English.
Yeah. So, you have a team from, say, Greece that doesn't speak English and speaks something completely foreign.
Right.
It'd be like, whoa. At least Spanish, I feel like
You can kind of
there's
pick up
an,
on keywords.
Yeah, and I feel like
Right.
in our country there's enough Spanish that's spoken that you would pick up on a few
Mhm.
words, but if someone's speaking Greek, they're literally speaking Greek to me. Like I have no
Yeah, or
idea
if
what
they're,
the
like,
hell
speaking
that is.
Chinese, I'm like,
Yeah, no, not happening.
"No."
Yeah, not in any life. So
No.
that would definitely make it not awkward, but definitely like there wouldn't be any talking going on the stage because you can't communicate with them
It
unless
would
you're
definitely
drawing
feel a little
pictures.
more, like, isolated and, like, clicky, not clicky in a bad way, but you're kinda forced into, like
Yeah, just talking to your teammates. That's
yeah,
it. Almost like you're ignoring the other team, but you're not. You just can't communicate.
you
That's
just
would
can't
be
talk.
weird. Yeah, you just wow, that would be weird.
Yeah,
And I'm
I
sure.
did think about that, though, like, when I saw other teams, I'm like, that would be odd."
Yeah. Okay. Now that you have one under your belt and you've already posted that we'll see you in 2029 Italy. Um how is that going to change going into day 1, stage 1? I don't want to say is it going to reduce the pressure, but how does it help having one under your belt already?
Oh, I definitely think it's gonna here's the weird thing about when I went to World Shoot, though. So, like, the nationals that I had done before World Shoot, I don't wanna say like, I don't get nervous, but you definitely get, like, the angst, right? Like, I
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
more, like, excitement and,
Like
like, first stage
like
jitters and, like, shaking it off or whatever.
it's like going to a big tournament for volleyball. It's the same thing. You're
Yeah,
not
it's
nervous, but
just
you're just
you're, like, hyped up, you're just, like,
yeah.
anxious, you wanna start shooting, you get, like, that first stage out of the way, and you're like, "Okay, I'm good." At World Shoot, I was dead calm. Like, scarily dead calm. Hands were not shaking, legs were not shaking, my heart wasn't racing, it was, like, super peaceful, and I was like, "This is weird."
Somebody put CBD in your coffee.
Right, but, honestly, like, it was I think we had, like, a 45-minute drive to the range each day, and every single day on the drive, I just put my headphones in, I listened to music, and all I did was visualize over and over and over everything that I had been practicing.
Oh wow.
Like, I was visualizing grip, vision, my movement, like, the stages that I had shot recently that everything clicked, and all I did was visualize it over and over, and I don't know if that is what would, like, calm me down.
How mentally exhausting is that? Because it's more exhausting mentally at times than physically. Shooting you because you're not shooting long. It's 30 seconds typically at the longest.
Mhm.
So, but the mental aspect of it, like you've probably shot 12 stages in a day and you're shooting all day long. So between the heat and the mental repetition of running all these stages through your head constantly to, embed it in your head so you're not thinking about what your stage plan is, it's there. That's more exhausting than the actual physical shooting part.
It is, but I also learned with myself too, I had to find and maybe I'm still I mean, I feel like everything is always changing with me on, like, what works, what doesn't work. Like, what used to work for me a year ago doesn't work for me now, so, like, I'm still have to figure stuff out, but there's definitely a balance when I'm stage planning, because I used to try and visualize, like, my movement and, like, close my eyes and think about my movement in every position, and I would go over it so much in my head that I think I was doing it too much, so that if something went wrong on the stage, it was, like, pure freaking chaos in my head, because I had it
Mm,
visualized so perfectly, and I kept doing it over and over and over, that when I would mess something up, it was, like, panic a little bit, and then it would all just turn to chaos. So I did there's definitely a balance I've learned with, okay, memorize the stages, what targets are where in terms of, like, okay, like, I can close my eyes and go, "That one's gonna be a partial, that one's an open," like, what and I can see it in my head, but not going over it too much, and just
interesting.
letting my body do what it needs to do. For World Shoot, I only visualize, like, that heavily just driving to the match. I wasn't doing it, like, in between.
Okay. How did you find the 3 minutes of walkthrough time? So, for people listening that don't understand the differences between IPSC and USPSA, IPSC, there is no early walkthrough time. You don't get to walk through the stages until your walkthrough time begins, like after the stage brief. So, how did that difference? Did you feel rushed at all to, okay, you've done enough stage planning then that was enough time?
Yeah, and also they're not as, like, complex or gamey
Oh, right,
as
right.
USPSA stages. Like, they're way more, like, straightforward in terms of that aspect, so it's not like there's a lot of super hidden targets or a lot of optionality. There's some optionality, but, like, there's not a whole lot like you'll see in USPSA. So the 3 minutes was totally fine, especially because we only had 8 people in a squad,
Okay.
right? So I think if you start to add more people and you try and do that, then it might suck a little.
Like 12 to 15 person squads like you find at a USPSA match?
Exactly.
Where somebody is stuck in one position for 3 minutes, you're like,
Oh my
move.
god, I'm like and then there's, like, a whole line of people, and you're like
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh, what was I about to? Oh, going back to the explosive movement and that stuff. That's where I think IPSC, it's much more critical to be athletic than it is in USPSA, because with USPSA, you can go outside of the boundaries, you can run around targets. I mean, you can pretty much do anything you want as long as you don't break the 180 when you're
you flow a
shooting.
lot more.
You do, but with IPSC, you have to stay within the confines of the fault lines. You cannot step out, or like you learned at IPSC Nationals, you got to go, you got to go back out and come back in where you went out.
I
it's
forgot about
it's
that.
it's crazy. Well, I literally just thought of that. I remembered that as I was talking, so I had
But
to
yeah,
throw
I
that
mean,
out there.
that's totally true. Because if we're gonna talk about that one stage in general that I, like, ran across and I was like, "Oh, shit," and I, like, ran back,
Literally, that's what
that
you
was
said.
literally just running forward like you would do in a USPSA match, whereas that one was now you have to quick break to the right and then move up. Like, it's definitely a
Yeah,
lot more I've never thought about that, but yeah, IPSC is definitely a lot more, like, directional.
it is, and so the more, that's where it actually rewards athleticism, because the
Mhm.
quicker you are, the quicker you can get to the next stage. Everything else being equal, like if you're matched up against someone from South Africa that shoots identically as fast as you, but you're more athletic, well, now you can win the stage.
And I think that did help me a lot. I mean, the World Shoot stages were definitely a lot more kind of USA styled, I will say. But in other IPSC matches that I had shot, like even just IPSC Nationals, which IPSC Nationals was by far harder. There's no comparison. It was so much harder than World Shoot. Um,
Wow.
so much harder. But in the other IPSC matches I had shot, because I did go to Arizona and I shot an IPSC match out there in August before I left for World Shoot, and then with IPSC Nationals, it's a lot more of run, stop, shoot, run, stop, shoot, run, stop, shoot. But there's like on the big stages though, there's a lot of running too. And like at
Okay.
IPSC Nationals, there's like one stage where it's like you go in a position, out of position, in the position, out of position. Like it was
Right.
like a W. So like I do think stuff like that helps me a lot. And it even takes pressure off of me feeling like I have to shoot fast.
Right.
And I shoot
Because you
better
can
because I'm
make up
like,
for it.
I am going to let my movement take over because I know people cannot get in and out as quick as I can. So I'm just going to shoot my points and just get in and out as fast as I can, which is something I'm working on in shooting in general right now, is more of just telling myself to move fast. And that's all. Because I can move a lot faster. I just need to stop thinking about my shooting while I'm doing it so I can just move quick and then just let my shooting do its thing.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely think the more athletic ladies have a distinct advantage at an IPSC match because of that. So
Yeah, for sure.
that is where I'm happy to see that now there's a rule in USPSA that allows you to put in the written stage brief that you have to stay within the confines
Oh, I didn't
of
even know
the
that.
fault
Wait,
lines. That's
no,
a
I did know that.
new, it's a, yeah, it's a newer newer rule they
No, I
just
think I did know that actually.
policy, whatever it was that
Mhm.
no rule. Yeah. That is a really good one. That
I would like to see more like IPSC matches here.
well now that they allow that in the written stage brief, I think even local matches now it would be nice to see some mix where it's like stage 3, here's your when you're shooting a local, it's just whoever has the tablet at the time, they're reading off the stage brief, but it's like, oh, you must stay within the fault lines. It's like,
Right.
okay, I like that.
Mhm.
It's different. It does get people more acclimated to that style of shooting where now you've got to really get in and out of positions quicker.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah, I like that. All right. Let me make sure I've got. Now you mentioned you had a lot of stuff going on last year. Um, so you weren't sure what matches you were shooting and stuff. It seems like you've got things a little more ironed out this year. What's your shooting calendar looking like this year?
I am actually going to the European.
Extreme?
Yeah, I'm going to the European Extreme in
Ooh.
Budapest. That was a last minute thing, so that'll be fun. That's in the end of May or it's in the beginning of June. So I'm gonna do that one. I feel like I'm about to get really chaotic. I'm going to South Carolina sectional
Okay.
end of March. I did sign up for Colorado State just to go see some friends mostly. That's in
Okay.
June, end of June. So I'll basically be coming back from Europe and then going to Colorado. And I kind of want to do a match in Puerto Rico right before Europe.
Like a warm up.
Yeah. And then I'm on the wait list for IPSC Nationals. I'm gonna go to Race Gun Nationals, and I do want to go to Factory Gun Nationals.
Okay. Now see, this is where I have issues with the way USPSA does things. If you're a World Shoot member and you've already expressed that you want to be a World Shoot team member again in the next World Shoot, and you have certain matches you have to shoot for qualification, then those individuals should have priority getting into the match. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna show up anyway, if I'm being honest.
Well, there are going to be no shows, so
Yeah,
you should show
exactly.
up. Yeah.
I'm just gonna show up. If I don't get off the wait list, I'm just showing up anyway.
Yeah, I've been told that to do that at nationals. They're like,
Mhm.
I've been told, by multiple people, not on the podcast, but just
Mhm.
in private, like, just show up. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, man, there's going to be no shows. People aren't. There are going to be some
Well, and if
people
you
who
think
don't show up
about
to
it
shoot.
too, like people that do end up actually backing out of the wait list, like last minute, let's say even a couple weeks out, like the people that are on the wait list now only get a couple weeks to book their flight, book their stay, and it's a lot more expensive. So also those people that are getting off the wait list, the chances of them actually taking that slot too just keeps going down, down, down.
Yeah. I'm going to, oh, that was a little too fast. You can't see it here. Sometimes they remove the names, but I've shot nationals and then you scroll down to the bottom and on day 2, so day 1's completed. You look at the scores on day 2 and there's like 10 or 12 zeros, just people with zeros out beside their name where
Mhm.
they just never showed up and shot.
Yeah. Which
So
also sucks when that happens. I get stuff happens in people's lives, but it also sucks when you
it
have a
does.
match where people are on the wait list for
Yeah,
and really want to go.
absolutely. That happened to somebody I knew. So privately, he was like 3 or 4 days prior, he's like, "Yeah, I'm not showing up for nationals." And I was like, "What? I'm not going to see you?" He's like, "No, some stuff came up. I can't go. Now I've got to stay home." It's like, okay, I get it. Life happens to
Oh, for sure.
everybody. So
But
yeah,
that's
so I
also what
get it.
sucks where, like, it would be nice if you can just swap your name over. Like,
Right.
instead of, like, going off,
Yeah.
like, withdrawing and then giving it to someone else, like, if you know that someone else is gonna be going for sure, why not just be
Yeah.
able to give them your spot?
Yeah. And I think the thing they would be concerned, like I was just thinking, okay, make it transferable less than 7 days before nationals. So they still have
Mhm.
that slot. But then it's like, okay, then how many people are going to not show up and just wait within 7 days and then give their spot to somebody else instead of someone,
Yeah,
creates
that's
other
true too.
avenues. Yeah. So I get it. But in his, it was a legit last minute thing where he couldn't attend. And it's like, well, I was going, so it didn't matter. But, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks. Now you mentioned that the last time we talked, you were supposed to go to PCSL Nationals in 24.
Yeah, I didn't go to that one.
I didn't think so. I didn't remember seeing you. Did you go to the
Mhm.
one in 25? I don't remember.
No, I didn't go to that one either. I'm
Have you shot? Go ahead.
I might go to one this I don't know, we'll see. I like PC I like two gun. I think it's really fun. I love PCSL in general. But I feel like
But
a lot of my time and resources, like in my head, I'm like, okay, but like my time and resources with just rifle alone, I could be putting towards just getting better with my pistol.
right.
So if I
I
do
get
it, it
that.
would be like purely for fun.
Well, and the reason I was bringing it up was I was wondering if you had any plans of shooting any PCC. That's why I even brought it up. No. Okay.
Yeah, I've shot PCC only one time, and that was in 2024 at like a Henning Steel match, and it was fun.
Well,
But
it's
no, I don't
shooting.
plan on switching to PCC.
Okay. I totally get that. Now you have a bunch of matches coming up this year that you're doing some traveling you haven't done in the past. You're talking about Puerto Rico. You're talking about the Extreme Open. Um, do you see yourself doing a little bit of that every year before the next World Shoot?
Oh yeah,
Okay. Do you see yourself shooting the same matches, or like, do you want to try to hit a match in Italy the year prior?
yeah, maybe. I haven't thought that too far ahead, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
I'm
That's a
kind
fair
of
answer.
yeah. I kind of just
Because
even
if
like
you
planning out this year. I don't plan it out too much. I'm like, yeah, I want to shoot all three nationals, and that's all. That's all I had planned originally. And then just as stuff comes up, or people are like, "Oh, you want to go shoot this match?" I'm like, "Sure." That was a South Carolina sectional. They're like, "Want to shoot this match?" I'm like, "Sure." Like I didn't plan it, but I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go."
what division are you shooting at? The South
Limited
Carolina.
optics.
Okay. With a Shadow 2?
Yeah,
Okay. What optic are you running on that thing?
the Holliston 507 comp.
Okay. How do you like that?
I love it. I used the SRO before, and then
Right.
I switched to the 507. The 507 is ran like a champ. I've had zero issues with it ever. The
Okay.
battery tray did fly out once, but I already know they fixed that. Um, but I actually think it holds better in the sun. I don't think it washes out as much in the sun compared to the SRO.
How do you like the square window versus the round window?
I didn't think I was gonna like it, but I actually do really like it. I feel like when I look through an SRO now, I'm like, this is weird.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. That's funny. Red or green dot?
Red for sure.
See, I don't like red. But I'm one of those people that has a red green color vision issue.
Mm.
So with the red dot, I either have to turn it up really bright or I'm looking for it. The green dot, I can dim it down and I don't have to look for it. It's just there.
But have you tried different like MOAs? Like, is it an
Yeah,
MOA
it's the
problem?
color. It's the
Mm.
color. That's the problem.
Interesting.
That's why I prefer green. Yeah, because green, like I can see it in my peripheral vision. I don't see red as well.
Okay,
For
that makes
for
sense.
example, if you like a large parking lot, say like a Walmart parking lot, okay? And you have 4 or 5 rows down over, you've got a black car, a maroon car, a deep red, uh, whatever other, a dark green. In the right light, they all look the same color to me. So
Okay, I can see how green would then, yeah.
so then you add something brighter that's not dark like a red, but a green is a brighter color. That sticks out more to me. And it's just easier for me to pick out in my peripheral vision.
So that makes
So I
sense
don't
because I
have
think a
to
lot of
look at
people
it.
prefer red because they can pick it up easier.
Right.
So I
And
can see
I
if you
pick
have a
up
harder
green
time doing
easier.
that, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because that's what I don't like about the green. I feel like it's too like dim for me. Like my
That's
eyes don't
wild.
like pick it up or process it as fast.
Interesting. To me, that's wild because green is also more in the middle of the spectrum where red is at the end of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still interesting to me how people perceive those things differently. You
Mm-hmm.
know, everybody's brain works a little different and
Yeah.
perceives
I'm
things
really
different.
I'm really curious to try. I think Paulison is coming out with a gold dot for their
Yeah, the
pistol.
amber. Yeah,
Yeah, the amber one. I've used the amber on a rifle one, and I was very, very surprised at how much I liked it.
I think I would like the amber as well.
Yeah, I
I
was
think it's a
very
good mix
surprised.
of the two.
It is because I like for me, well, I've only ever really known red, so like my eyes will pick up red really fast. But when I was using the rifle dot, I didn't think I was gonna be able to pick it up as fast. But you could still pick it up. I pick it up faster than the green dot, but it's not as like in my face as the red dot.
Makes it a little bit easier to focus on the target when you're not. That's what I have the issue with red is
Hmm.
I'll lose target focus because I'm having to look at the dot or find, you know what I mean, to make
Yep.
sure that it's where it needs to be. With green, I can dim it down and it just lays over top of the target and I can focus on the target.
Yeah, I used to have that issue with like different MOAs. That's how I kind of learned that I
Mm,
like
the smaller
1 to 2.5 MOA. Because the bigger
Oh,
the
nice.
MOA, it's like I would turn it up and it's way too bright. I'm staring at the dot. And then I'm like, okay, that's too
Mm,
bright. So I turn it down. And I'm like, shit, now I can't find it. And there was just never a happy medium.
okay. So how do you see 2029 shaping your training for the next 3 years?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm a very like go with the flow, wing it kind of person. I'm trying to be like more structured. Um, so I would say right now I am figuring out the answer to that question.
Okay. Well, let me put it to you this way. What is one thing that you learned about yourself at World Shoot that you're like, I need to work on this going forward, shooting wise?
Confidence.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not like I don't swing the opposite way, but I definitely I need to be shooting with more confidence because every single time I like pull back actually like I'm like, oh, it's a major match, let's pull back, let's be like more consistent than anything,
More conservative shooting.
more
Yeah.
conservative. And that's one thing that I will say I regret slightly about World Shoot was looking back, I shot so freaking conservative. Like I shot so safe. And I could have amped that shit up by a lot and still have had good hits. But I just shot way too conservative.
Mm. You know, it's funny. Jay Beal said something similar the other night. He said the one thing that stuck out when a conversation with Jacob was he said, you don't shoot enough walls. He was like, what? He's like, in training, you got to shoot a lot of walls, meaning you've got to push that limit to where you're shooting walls coming into position. So you know
Right.
exactly where that line is. So you can be more aggressive.
Yep.
And I
And
asked Jay, I was like, so do you think you shoot conservative at like nationals? He goes, oh, absolutely.
yep.
It's like, okay, there we go.
And I've known that about myself, or I started to learn that about myself at Factory Gun Nationals. Um, and so when I went to the biggest reason I went to the IPSC match in Arizona in August was because I wanted to build my confidence up. I wanted to prove to myself that I can start off aggressive off the rip. Not like every single like major match I had done, the first day was like really freaking slow and I'm like, "Oh my god, I could shoot so much faster." and like still have good points. Like that's the problem is I'm not even saying like push pass where I get sloppy. I have a lot more to push and still get good points and I just don't. And so then I'll dig myself a hole the first day and I'll realize it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm shooting way too conservative and scared. So then I'll start like amping it up slowly throughout like a 3-day nationals. And at the end of it, I'm like, damn it. I'm like, why didn't, well, like, and it's not a matter of like warming up. That's going to play into it a little bit, but it's all
Right.
like mental. I'm like, I need to come off the rip like at major matches, not like 100%, not like at the max. Like, there's definitely still a ramping up, like warming up period, but I have a lot more to give starting out. Like at World Shoot, I think I had like 2 deltas, no mics, no shoots, and I was disappointed.
Because
And that
you didn't push it hard
that
enough,
means
you
I did
feel.
not push nearly as close as I should have.
Okay. Well, it's funny you say that because when I was looking at um, your, let me go back here. There we go. When I was looking at last year's 2025 Ladies Open, you were, oh my gosh, 11 seconds faster than Jessie. Jessie's fast, okay?
Mm-hmm.
She's not slow. You were 11 seconds faster. You were a little looser, but obviously you were being more aggressive.
Oh, I was starting to push, especially on
Yeah.
like day two, halfway through day two.
Like she had one mic, you had four.
Yeah.
She had 13 deltas, you had 15 deltas,
Mm-hmm.
you know? But at my point here is that your speed, the time that you made up by being that aggressive, made up for those hits or lack of hits. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you found a pretty good balance in there to be able to do what you did.
Yeah. And I think the way that I've kind of approached like even just stage planning, after shooting with Christian at Area 5, my brain loves problem solving.
Mm.
And so that's kind of how I started to view stage planning. Not started. I actually always kind of viewed it that way ever since I started shooting. I always found stage planning really interesting and I turned it into a game for myself. When I would see like really good shooters in Colorado, I made it like a game like, "Oh, can I see something they can?" Like in the stage plan. And yeah, I said a lot of stupid shit sometimes, but I was learning. And then it especially clicked for me shooting with Christian at Area 5 and like watching him when I look at stage like stage planning now and stages, it is all about how can I always be doing something? And like that's how I approach it. I'm like, how can I always be doing something? Can I be shooting in, shooting out? If I'm not, can I be shooting and moving? And if there's dead time, then is that a good place to throw a reload? And that'll be like the last step for stage planning.
There was an interesting conversation you and him were having, and I don't. I'm not a. I'm not someone who likes to listen in on people's conversations, so I'll literally move away because I don't like being that way. But I was that was one of the stages that I was recording of your squad when you guys were
Mhm.
shooting Area 5 with my handheld camera. And I remember when you guys got to this stage, it was on the far end of the range. So it was those bigger bays. And he asked you, he said, "What's the hit factor for this stage?"
Mhm.
And so it would have been like 18, 17, 18, 19, 20, somewhere in those, in that stage range is where he asked that. And you gave him the answer. You went back, you looked at, I guess, your phone. I don't know. I don't remember what you looked at now.
Yeah,
And
probably
you
practice score on
said,
my phone.
okay. And then did you guys have any more conversations about that? Was that the only stage that you guys were looking at the hit factors on? And what were you getting from looking at the hit factor?
Honestly, that would probably be more of a question for him. I don't
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Christian's probably just like, what's the hit fact? I mean, he probably knows like a lot of like the math behind all that stuff and like the
He
time and all
does.
that. I particularly don't yet. And I don't really
Okay.
look at the hit factors before I shoot it.
Okay.
So that would
That's where I
definitely be
was
like
going.
a better question for him on why he does that. I'll
Well,
ask
you
him too
actually
because now I'm
answered the
curious.
question. Well, yeah, you should because I have a feeling I know why he asked because he does know because after having multiple conversations with different people about things, I'm pretty sure he's calculating how risky he can be and when and where with what
Yeah.
targets. You know what I mean? So and still be at that hit factor or higher.
Hmm.
So I'm sure that's why he was asking. But the reason I asked you was I was trying to find out if you and him had conversations about that and had you learned anything about using hit factor for strategy. But no, the
I have
answer
not
is
yet. No.
okay. The other question I was going to have as a follow up is since you did shoot with him that weekend at Area 5, have you guys communicated at all about training or shooting or any of that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So have we talked earlier about certain things resonating, like one person saying something and you're not picking it up, someone else saying something, you're like, oh, well, like the horseshoe shape
Right.
with the grip. Has there been any other moments? And you don't even have to state what they are, but have you had any other moments? Like, is he somebody who resonates with you?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Was that somebody you would travel to Washington to do training with to get better?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I want him to come out to Florida to do a class too.
Mm, okay.
Yeah, I really like I've watched like his online like training stuff, but it'd be really interesting on it. Like the thing that he kind of tells me is like you just need to shoot more. Is it's real that's
Mm,
basically he's like you're just still new into shooting that like you're not doing anything wrong. You just need to shoot more to do everything better. Like it's not like you're particularly doing anything wrong. You just need to get the reps in more, which makes sense. And so then when he
yeah.
sees something like, like my elbows being down or whatever, he'll like give advice on that or he'll comment on like one of my stages and he'll be like, "You did 5 things extremely well in that first position. Do you know what it was?" And I was like, "No, I have no idea."
I
I was like, "No."
completed it.
Yeah, I was like, "No, that first position." I'm like, I don't know." And then he'll tell me and I'm like, "Oh, interesting." Like I didn't even think about that like in my walkthrough or anything like that. So I forget what it was in particular, but I'm like, that's interesting because I never would have thought about that in my walkthrough. So that's maybe something that I should try and learn to pick up during my walkthrough. If I knew what it was off the top of my head, I'd tell you. But
No, it's okay. But it's interesting because there is that growth. You know what I mean? Like learning what you're doing and what you're not doing, and then
mm-hmm.
you know, like just learning that knowing that he picked up 5 things. Like who
Yeah.
who else would know? You know, there are some
Right.
other
That's what I thought
high.
too. I'm like 5 things in that
Yeah,
one position at like a local match. I'm like, what?
I didn't shoot anybody.
I'm like, I thought I shot it really, really slow on the zebra. So I'm like, what did I do good?
Yeah, that's that other level. You know.
Yeah. They'll just know things or like see things that I gotta do the little people stuff first to be able to recognize the big hippo game.
Yeah, that's a different level. There are people that have won nationals that aren't at that level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it was Jay I was having the other night when we were talking about it where I feel like the people who have won multiple nationals. Well, on the ladies' side, look at Justine.
Hmm.
She's got it figured out,
For sure.
you know. But if you look at either a man or a woman who's won a single nationals, they may not have figured it out quite yet. They may have all of the cylinders may have been firing properly that match and they had the ability so they were able to win that match. But that doesn't mean that they have figured it out. But people who have won more than one, I think they have figured it out. At
Yeah.
least for them.
Yeah. And like I said, I think stuff is always evolving
Oh
too,
yeah.
right? Like the
Absolutely.
mental processes I used to have like 2 years ago versus my mental process now. Like at one point when I shot I forget what match it was. I shot a match and I shot it really consistent. And I was like, this is what I need to do. I need to shoot calm and I need to not try to push. And it worked out really well for me. I was consistent, I was flowing, like my transitions were a lot better. Like I was like, I need to not push. And I think when my shooting got a lot better, that mindset no longer works for me. Now I'm
Okay.
like, push. Now I need
Mm,
to push. So that has also like completely flip flopped. And who knows, it might
right.
end up swinging back again.
Yeah, but that would swing back once your speed
Yeah,
outpaces your shooting ability.
exactly. Right, right.
Yeah, so that it's a back and forth game.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure there's a point where if you look at the times, Jacob and Christian are always like right at the top on overall time at a match.
Mm-hmm.
But they're but then you've got to look at their hits and compare where those are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like with you at Race Gun Nationals last year, your speed might have been a little bit more than your shooting,
Mm-hmm.
but they balanced out at the end.
Yes. And it definitely flip flopped on certain stages. Like there's like
Oh,
some
right.
stages like where I was in like the top 10 where like everything was just clicking as I was shooting. I almost like didn't stop moving whatsoever on those stages. I was calling my shots like, and that was the thing where I wasn't trying to shoot fast. I was able to because it's an open gun, but I was not particularly trying to shoot fast. I was telling myself move, 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 move fast.
Okay. How much work have you done in like one of the things that I found that was hard initially was moving right after the second shot. Like that initial
Oh,
you got the first shot on target, you pull the trigger, you got your recoil going, and I would wait till the dot would come back down on the target, and then I would move. Where to me
yeah.
that was the hardest thing was that boom,
No,
oh
that
shot's gone, you got to go.
Oh, dude, that's my biggest problem in my shooting right now. And
Oh,
that's yeah, that's
okay.
my biggest problem. I over confirm like a motherfucker. It's so annoying. Like that's why like I'm literally was watching my World Shoot stages yesterday and I'm like, this is painful.
Oh wow.
I'm like, this is painful to watch. And that's why like I wanted to like even now I would love to shoot open minor just for a couple months to get that feeling that I had shooting open, but I can do it cheaper. But like I want to be able to get that feeling of like the fast vision, the shot calling, because I was coming on and off steel super fast. Like that's open allowed me to kind of do that and access it and start to feel for it. And I wanted to take that feeling and keep rolling with it with open minor just to practice. And then see about translating it into like carry optics or LO. But that's a big like I over my shot calling needs to be a lot better.
I'm wondering now that we're talking, and you keep saying open minor and cheaper I'm wondering if I have a mount. I may have to try something because what popped in my head was what if you bought the adapter to do a frame mounted optic for your limited optics gun so you get the dot off of your slide. I wonder if that would make a difference in training. So it would look like an
Oh, I
open
see what you're
gun, but
saying. Maybe.
it might get it off the slide so that the dot's not actually moving, the dot
Mm-hmm.
staying still. I mean, you still have recoil, but I'm wondering if that would actually help with shot calling, movement, out of the position, things like that. You know?
Yeah, well, and that was Christian was kind of the one that also gave me the advice on he was like, you should shoot open minor for a little bit. This was after race gun. He's like, you should shoot open minor for a little bit because like he said, things were clicking for you. Like your vision, your movement was super aggressive. You were going fast. So you should keep working on all of those things for a little bit and then worry about your grip later. Because like obviously if I'm shooting an open minor gun, I don't have to worry about my grip nearly as much as if I'm shooting my carry optics gun. So he was like, you should work on all those things because when I go to shoot my carry optics gun, now I'm trying to work on all those things and my grip.
This is what I'm talking about right there.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Something like that where you get the dot off of the slide, and maybe that will make a difference too. Because like right now when it's on the slide is actually moving. So
Right.
that's half of the freaking problem. In this case, the dot doesn't actually move. It'll be sitting still. So it's off the slide. I'm wondering if something like that, like my mechanics have they have the rail underneath.
Mm-hmm.
So they make like a frame mounted optic that actually attaches underneath on the bottom, then comes up over the slide, and you put your dot up on top there.
Interesting.
Yeah. So then, the slide would operate underneath the optic and just work like an open gun. It looks
Mm-hmm.
just like an open gun, but it
Hmm.
mounts instead of to the frame, it mounts underneath where you'd mount a light or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm wondering. That's what made me think of it. I'm almost wondering if you could do something like actually, here's a let me. Is this gonna? There's another version. See that? I think something like that would be interesting. I don't know if your CZ has the rail underneath or not. I don't shoot CZs. I don't really know much about them. So,
That'd be interesting to test out though. I don't know how that would.
but you shoot a CZ and carry optics too, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Huh. I wonder if getting a or having another gun that has the rail system underneath where you could mount something like that. I'm going to go back to the other screen here. There we go. And I'll look for one because I know I bought one for my original Canic SFX where it mounted underneath, but it took screws that I didn't like. Oh, this is perfect. I should have shared this one. Holy cow. This is exactly what I am talking about. Let me go here. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
It,
interesting.
except this one does still mount
To
here
the
on the
frame.
side,
Yeah.
but they make them where they come underneath and mount to the rail on the bottom.
Hmm.
So you don't have to put screws into your frame, but they just exactly like an open gun, the dot is mounted off of the slide. I feel like that would be a good open minor system to what's this one? Let me see. No, that one's got screws also. I can't remember the brand that actually does it where they mount it underneath. Oh well. But you get the idea of what I'm talking about.
It looks like it might be mounted underneath on there.
Yeah, I think I'm seeing some screws right. I'm what it might be if I click on it, we're going to lose it. It'll move. But my point is that this might be another mounting frame here, and
Right.
then the screws bolt into that.
Mm-hmm.
So, because Wasatch Arms, they make a compensator as well. So it might all be like
One piece.
one, yep, or
Yeah.
multiple pieces all connected down here.
Yeah.
So,
It'd be an interesting idea. I think like when I've shot like open minor guns that are just like ported or comp 2011s, they also just shoot so freaking flat.
right.
Like in general, like that doesn't even like the dot. But I can see maybe on an LO gun.
But now comps aren't allowed in LO.
No, 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 no.
Right. So you would have to still get a different gun or buy like Wasatch Arms, and there are others that, the guns don't come with a comp, but they're designed to fit at the end of the gun. And then bolt on one way or another. So you end up getting that same compensator feel.
Right.
So there's with as big as CZ is, I'm sure there's probably something out there for them as well.
Oh, I'm sure.
But the nice thing is there too, you would like we talked about the cheap part would be being able to use factory ammunition. And factory ammo is running about what I'm finding is about 140 power factor. So you should get some. My point is, you should get some benefit with the compensator because you want something a little higher power factor running that comp to get
Yeah,
an actual benefit. So
for sure.
so that might actually work really well for like open minor
Yeah,
training.
especially for training purposes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Jenna,
Yeah,
where
that's how
did
you know
that
it's been
come
a while.
from? Yeah, Brenna. Wow. I don't know that I've ever done that on a podcast episode. That's pretty
It's okay.
interesting.
I get it at every single match. Every single match. Brianna, Brennan,
Oh,
Brandon. I'm
Brennan.
like, dude, I will get the
Oh,
weirdest thing. I will get the weirdest stuff.
wow.
Brennan,
Well, at least I kept it gender appropriate. I mean,
it was, yeah, for sure. It wasn't, it was kind of close. It rhymes.
it does. Well, and it's funny because earlier today when I was getting my coffee, I was like, "Oh, Brenna, Jenna, they rhyme." So maybe that's why I said it.
Time for a
That's
coffee
really
re up.
weird. Yeah, no kidding. The Monster, I went down to Monster because they don't have as much caffeine. Maybe I need to go back to Bang where it's like 300 milligrams of caffeine. It's like
Like
I figured
crack.
it out once. It's like 20 milligrams of caffeine per ounce. It's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I think it's actually like 18 or 19 because it was like a 20-ounce can and it's like 360 milligrams of caffeine. I was like, I only have to drink half the can a day and I'll be good.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked about a lot of different things. Is there anything we didn't talk about that you want to talk about before we go?
I don't think so. I think we touched on pretty much everything.
There was one final question. I think so. I always put a picture of the guest above them. So when people watch and I've got like your Instagram tag down there too, if people want to follow, but that's one of the best pictures I've seen. I don't know if your wingspan is just that long at 5'4", or if it was a smaller flag, but
It
you
was a
have
smaller
that
flag.
flag. Okay, that flag is like perfectly stretched out. Like I don't think I've ever seen a more perfect stretch of the flag.
That's actually true. It was like the perfect arm length.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was looking at that, I was like, I got to have this. I mean, I've never seen such a perfectly
Yeah.
posed
That's perfect.
picture with the flag.
Yeah,
Who
I
was
could not have done but I could not have done a full size one.
who took the picture?
Justine. Was it
Oh,
Justine? I
okay.
think it was Justine or Nicole. Might have been
Okay,
Nicole,
so
actually.
one of the other team members. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there we'll give props to whoever took the picture because it's also a great picture. So
I think it was Nicole.
awesome.
She does take good photos.
All right. Well, congratulations on your World Shoot and your Ladies Open National Championship.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Maybe I'll be back
And
in another year and a half.
hopefully not that long, but
Yeah.
okay. All right. Well, you have a great day and thanks for coming on, Brenna.
Thank you. You too.